everybody. Today I'm interviewing Gillian. Gillian is somebody that I met along my own personal breast cancer journey. And today we're going to find out how she got diagnosed with breast cancer. It is extraordinary. So you guys must watch all the way to the end to find out how she was diagnosed. So Gillian, welcome. We want to know, how old were you and how long ago were you diagnosed with breast cancer?
Thank you, Laurie, for having this opportunity. I was 45 years old when I was diagnosed, and that was 2 years ago. I was diagnosed on the 26th of May, 2018.
Right. Tell me, so in your family, do you have any family history of breast cancer?
I have a distant aunt, apparently, that had breast cancer, but nothing that I knew about. I only found out about her once I was diagnosed.
Yeah.
So I only know one family member that was diagnosed.
The other question is, I started with my mammograms when I turned 40. I'm not sure what everybody else obviously did. Did you ever go for regular mammograms or not?
No, I never ever went for mammograms. I always did my physical testing myself, but I never went for mammograms.
Okay, so you knew about physical testing, because I never did that myself. So how often did you do it?
I did it about once a month. I've always been one for, I've never been scared of touching my own breasts. So I actually enjoyed touching my own breasts. So probably I didn't even realize I was checking maybe weekly or daily, but I would do a physical exam once a month.
Okay. So when you got diagnosed, so we'll tell the people at the end how, but what stage of breast cancer were you diagnosed when you, obviously the doctor told you you had breast cancer?
Stage 4.
Okay. So stage 4 means, where does it mean, where, so you obviously had to go through all the tests and the bone tests and the MRIs, and then they came back and told you you've got stage 4 cancer.
Yes.
Tell me.
After the many tests and the MRI, the last test was the mammogram, and they detected a shadow in my left breast.
Okay.
And they did a biopsy, and then they ran further tests, and then with the MRI coming back, they detected that I had lesions on my spine.
Okay.
So it had metastasized to my spine.
So you didn't feel a physical lump or something nodule in your breast at all?
No, not at all.
Okay. Tell me, so your what type of breast cancer were you diagnosed with?
I was diagnosed with HER2 positive breast cancer. Yeah.
So your ER and your progesterone's negative?
Estrogen positive.
Okay. So it's HER2 and estrogen positive. Okay, tell me now your journey through treatment. What was your treatment plan like? What did you start with?
I started with radiation because I had a lot of pain in my back. So they wanted to eliminate the pain. So they started with me with 2 weeks of radiation. And then I followed that with 12 weeks of chemotherapy.
Okay, so did you also do the Red Devil, or did you not have the Red Devil?
I didn't have the Red Devil. They started me with paclitaxel.
Okay, so you had 12 weekly paclitaxels after you had your radiation?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have any radiation again after the spine radiation, breast radiation, or not?
No, I didn't. No.
So nothing in your lymph nodes?
Nothing in the lymph nodes.
Interesting, hey?
Tell me, only went to the spine.
Unbelievable. Tell me, Gillian, so now also during the journey, what was the hardest bit for you? What was hard? Was it emotionally? Was it the physical part? Was it the treatment thing? What did you find you struggled with as a newly diagnosed breast cancer patient undergoing treatment?
For me, it was probably emotional. The treatment, well, the radiation for me was the worst. I was man down for the radiation. I don't even probably remember for that 2 weeks what I did. I just laid in bed day in and day out. Husband had to
Because
come
was it
and
physical? Was it a physical thing, the radiation? Or
yes, it was a physical. Yeah, it was definitely a physical thing. I don't know if it was an emotion. No, it wasn't an emotional thing. I was sick. I was sick with the radiation. And also I had an emotional breakdown thinking I've worked so hard my entire life to get where I was. And, you know, things were looking up for me work-wise. And yeah, I've been given this blow of cancer, a cancer diagnosis. So it was the unknown. It's like, now what is now going to happen? So yeah, it was a very emotional roller coaster for me.
yeah. So when you talk,
the treatment was fine, chemotherapy was fine. I didn't other than being weak and tired, I actually sailed through chemotherapy quite fine.
yeah. When you say the physical thing about radiation, is it a, if you say man down, does it mean tired, or were you in pain, or how would you describe that man down for us, that people out there that don't know? What is it?
I was tired. I was exhausted.
Yeah, yeah.
I would be in bed from the time I came back from radiation to when my husband came home, and he would help me bath and he would put me back into bed, and that's where I would be when he came back from work the next morning to take me to radiation.
Wow.
I would just lay there, and yeah, it was definitely pain because I was also on morphine for a while because of the pain.
Sure. Tell me, how long after you started your radiation did you feel the pain subsided a bit, or did it not during the radiation therapy?
The pain did subside probably in my 6th radiation, I would say it subsided. But the tiredness and the fatigue was still there, but the pain had definitely subsided.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Grateful for that one. Tell me, so
definitely.
So you are, did we say what type of breast cancer you had? You had HER2 positive and you had estrogen positive. So now you've done the 12 radiations, you've done 6 months of chemotherapy. Did they do anything else, mastectomy wise, or did you not have any of that?
No, I didn't have mastectomy. I did ask my oncologist, and she said to me it won't be necessary as the cancer is no longer here. It's no longer in the breast. It had moved from that area and it had moved into my spine. So there was no reason to have a mastectomy.
Tell me, when they did that biopsy did they do a biopsy in your breast? The shadow? They biopsied that?
Yes.
Did they pick something up there when they did do the biopsy? They did pick up cancerous cells in that area?
Yes, they did.
Okay, so and then obviously you had your chemotherapy and then it was completely gone. So tell me now, so where we now, how many years are we down the road? We are, how many years? 2
years. 2 years, a few months, yeah.
And tell us, are you still taking any medication for your breast cancer, for your breast cancer or not?
Yes, I am. I have to have the Herceptin every 3 weeks. I go in for that. I've changed over to the Ogivri now, which is the the, what do you call it?
Generic.
The alternative, the generic version of Herceptin.
Yeah.
So I'll be on that for the rest of my life until it stops working. I also go for, every 3 months, I go for a Zomo infusion, which is a bone strengthening infusion. I'll also be on that for the rest of my life.
Are you taking anything for the positive estrogen? You're not taking tamoxifen or
Oh, yes, sorry. Yes, I am on letrozole as well. I take a daily letrozole tablet as well. Hormonal tablets, yeah.
So now taking all of those things, do we have side effects? Tell us, do we have side effects on it? What do you pick up?
Yes, that's, I do have joint pain. The joint pain is like the worst pain.
Yeah.
The fatigue, which I try and keep active. I try and walk as much as I can. I do have a desk job, so I sit a lot of the time. So I need to remind myself to get up and get going. So, and for the Herceptin, I constantly have a runny nose. So I thought that would be probably 2 years down the line. I thought that would be eventually, get less and less and less. But no, I still have yet a runny nose.
Tell me the joint pain. What did your doctor say? Which one of the two, the tamoxifen or the Herceptin, is giving you the joint pain? Do they know? Is it one or the other or both?
She hasn't put me on another anti-hormone tablet. I only went on to letrozole. So she did give me tramadol to take for the joint pain, which I do take a tramadol. It helps to a certain extent, but it doesn't go away fully. But I haven't looked at options of changing it to tamoxifen.
So does she think it's the estrogen? Does she think it's the estrogen medication that's causing the joint pain?
Correct. Yes, it's the estrogen blockers that causes the joint pain. Yeah.
Can I ask you, were you in menopause when you were diagnosed with breast cancer? Because obviously now with the estrogen blockers, you are forced into menopause. Were you?
I wasn't in menopause at the time. I was still getting a monthly period. And the moment I started paclitaxel, it threw me immediately into menopause.
So the other thing I wanted to ask you, are you one of the people that are getting the hot flashes with your with your estrogen blocker, or is that not part of your?
Oh no, it's part of it, definitely.
Okay. So we can add another one to the list. Oh my gosh.
Add another one to that list. I get the hot flushes and then I get the chills as well. As far as I know, is that the Herceptin gives you the chills. So one moment I get that hot flush, and the next moment I'm freezing cold. So my husband says he lives in one day, he lives through all the different seasons.
And you always have a jersey.
Switch the aircon off.
Oh my goodness. And always have a jersey
Take off the jackets, put on the jackets.
Yes. So now let's tell the people how you found out that you actually had breast cancer. Because I think this is probably the most extraordinary story out of all the people I've interviewed. How you actually physically then picked up that you had breast cancer. What happened? How did you find out?
How I found out was, look, I've always been someone who has suffered with back pain all the years. I constantly went to the doctor. They would give me a Voltaren injection. It wouldn't go back. Eventually, I went for a scan, an X-ray, and they discovered that I had a vertebra that had shifted. So that was the reason for my back pain all the years. So I just took it that, okay, that's the reason for my back pain. I would take pain medication. I'd go in every now and then for a Voltaren injection. That's the reason for my back pain.
So how long did you go through that where you got injections for your back pain? How many, was it years or not?
It was years.
Okay.
Years I've had it. And that year, that month, May of 2018, I started getting spasms in my back. And I thought, no, this can't be right. I would just go into a shock mode, and I didn't know what to do. And I thought to myself, no, Gillian, this is not right. Something is wrong. And I went to work that day after I had the spasm, and I had a spasm at work, and I thought, no, something is not right. And
so was that now happening every day, a few times a day?
A few times a day, yes.
Okay.
It was that one day that I realized that something is wrong. And that day, that evening I went to emergency. And I said to them, look, something is wrong. I'm having tremendous pain. I'm having spasms. And they said to me, ma'am, I can't book you in for back pain. Laurie, and I've also got to tell you, prior to my diagnosis, my period was becoming quite excessive. And I had gone to my gynae, and he put me on drug to let whatever needed to be released. It kind of like jolts your system, and it gives you a regular period. And twice again after that, it happened again, and he put me on the same tablet to jolt my system for a regular period. And shortly after that, I actually got the back spasms. And I said this to the doctor in the ER, and I said, there is something wrong. This can't be normal. So she booked me under my gynae, and my gynae came the next day to come and see me down in the ward. And he said to me, no, it's definitely not something down there that is the problem. So he recommended me to a neurosurgeon, and they started doing the testing then. And I went for a CT scan, I went for an MRI, I had my blood checked. When the MRI came back, they realized that I had lesions on my spine. And he said to me, unfortunately, it's bad news, you have cancer.
So but then you didn't know what? You didn't know what then, or what?
No, we didn't know what cancer it was. They had to now test my blood, whether it was blood cancer, or they started doing the testing. It came back, I didn't have blood cancer. Then they sent me for the mammogram, and the biopsy, and that's when they discovered I had breast cancer. And it was stage 4, gone to my spine.
Sure. Listen,
yeah.
The thing that I find so astonishing is that, okay, so you couldn't feel, you were doing self-examination, you couldn't feel a lump, but it's metastasized all the way to your spine, and only with a mammogram did they pick it up?
Correct, yeah.
Did they do, okay, so the biopsy and the mammogram told you that it was breast cancer, and that was now what happened all the way to the spine. So I think the important thing for watching the video is that many people are doing self-breast examination, and then because we've got this thing going, early detection saves lives. So if you know the way how your breasts feel and you find a lump and you pick it up, then it's early detection. But in your scenario, you couldn't feel anything, and it landed up being stage 4 as well. So I think it's also important to tell the people out there that, to do mammograms is also not a bad thing to do, because at the end of the day, either the one or the other will be your identification of your breast cancer.
Yes, yes. Look, our medical aid, the medical aid that I'm on, only really pays for a mammogram from the age of 50. So for me, it was okay. And I didn't know the cost of the mammogram. I thought it was going to be thousands of rands, and it's actually not. And so I just continued doing the self-examination. But I would definitely say, ladies, go and do your tests annually, because it might not be a lump. It could be just like what I had. I just had a shadow. So it's very important, which I've only realized now, and what I'm going to instill on my daughter to do is to do her annual exams, mammogram and self-exam.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned annually. I mean, for me, I've been doing it since I was 40. I didn't do the self-examination thing again. So I was doing the mammograms to get the way out, and and then also landed up having stage 4 breast cancer because of one that I skipped. So I think self-examination together with your yearly mammogram when you turn 40 is probably the way to go, because the earlier you can catch it, I think the bigger is the life expectancy after 5 years, because stage 4 breast cancer obviously isn't the best news you want to hear. What was your doctor? What did he say? Are you now in complete remission?
My oncologist has advised that I won't be in remission. This is something I'm going to have to live with. But the treatment that she's given me is to prolong my life.
Yes.
So yes, I won't be in complete remission. That is what I've been advised. And I will be on treatment until it stops, and then I will then obviously go on to an alternative treatment. There are many out there.
Yes.
And so far so good.
How often are you going for scans, Gillian? Do you get scans?
I've been going for scans every 3 months, as the medical aid approves for medication for so many months. So every time the medication or the approval comes to an end, then the medical aid actually require you to see if there's any progression before they can approve further treatments. Yes. So far it's been every 3 months, yes.
Yeah. I think I was being the same happened to me, is that I was feeling secure in the 3-monthly scan. Well, our doctor told us, but we still need to do breast examination, because scans doesn't pick up the lumps necessarily in your breasts. So that you can't just feel that you're now okay and don't do self-examination post breast cancer, post mastectomy, whatever. We still need to continue doing our breast examinations, even though we are doing a load of scans, every year.
Okay. Yes.
Gillian, thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. I think it creates awareness amongst many, many women out there. Unfortunately, breast cancer doesn't choose age. So we can be young, we can be old. And if you guys enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, comment, ask us questions, and we gladly answer them. Thank you so much.